So I kept meaning to make a film, drag them all out, show them to you. But I'm just sort of adding to the conversation of scoutcrafter talking about taps and dies and what's and where's and wherefore and all the rest of it. So, okay, yeah, you know I am Mr. Nuts and Bolts, yeah? But a close second to Mr. Nuts and Bolts is Mr. Taps and Dies. I think at the last count, I think I got 50. So I'm going to try and I've had a bit of a think. I've had a bit of a mooch about, and I'm trying to think of a few different ones and the few reasons why different ones that attracted me, certain different ones. So, you know, Scoutcrafter's been talking about the dies and the six-sided dies and those sort of things, but there are different ones. That are the older ones came in squares like this that you adjusted up, the older taps and die sets, because I like to go way back, and we were lucky we got two of those, didn't we? And sometimes you pick them up simply because they've got the date on them, all of these tools. But can you see, look, sometimes they have the date, and this one is 1918. Can we see that? Yeah, this one had the dates, everything they made, everything they touched, it's got the date on everything. Look, 1918. So I love finding stuff with an age and trying to match it, do you know what I mean? And we've got that set, and then so sometimes it's the date that you're looking for and that drives the collection, and then sometimes it's just a really good name, like a Pratt and a Whitney, a recognised name. You pick that up. First of all, it's gorgeous in its own right, but and you'd be very lucky if these are all Pratt and Whitney ones. These are all invariably, to find a complete set, it's quite difficult. I've got a few complete sets, not that old. And so when I say not old, not old compared to the other stuff that I collect, do you know? But yeah, so sometimes it's just purely the name that attracts me to the collection and what I collect. And then sometimes it's just the adjustability, because Scoutcrafter was on about the adjustability of the, you do it and then you work your way in. Well, can you see this one? This has four dies, 4 little corners, and this one is a highly adjustable handle. There's little marks, there's little hidden marks all over it. This is if you look in the hole here, you can adjust it up by the little mark inside there. You see inside that hole, and that slackens it and allows it. And when you twiddle this, it turns it. You see that? Can you see that moving now? Turns it inwards and outwards and adjusts it, and it drives it in and drives it out. Some things I've picked up, I found, and I haven't found again. Yeah, so it all, what you gotta pick up, you've got to grab what you can when you can, when it goes past your eyes, and you've got to be able to spot it. And then this one, less of an age on it, but I like this. Again, it's the dies and it adjusts in and out. But what I like with this one is we're talking about the plate on the back that holds it in. This, can you see how this adjusts in and out for threading a pipe, to holding it straight to enter a pipe, or even a metal, So that's why I collect taps and dies, but I also like to collect different taps and dies. Any excuse to find that it's different, and sometimes It's the box alone that attracts me to them. There's so many. Once you start collecting a certain thing, wow, it drives you mad, doesn't it? So anyway, don't worry, I've had to clear the bench, so there's stuff everywhere. So this is my biggest, bestest set. And again, this one. And if you look at this adjusts. This bolt goes in and out, which adjusts those three, or just these two onto that one. And again, these are sets of three. There's that, 3 of those and 3 of those. And again, I love it because they have the dates on them. Yeah, again, Thomas Chatwin. I collect a Thomas Chatwin 1915. So I collect that because of its date. And I did note it, and it is a question. Do you clean them and keep them nice and clean like I've done with this one? Or do you leave them with the grease on it? I'm not sure. I sort of like it with the grease on it because it adds to the smell. I like to, once you've cleaned it, it loses its original smell. This particular box, this is a Wells Brothers. Just open that up and smell that box. It's gorgeous, you know. So there's different ways, and then there's one here I just want to show you. Hold on, stop and start. So here we have a die, but there's no adjustment at all. Now, is that telling us its age, or is that telling us this is just for softer material? What would that be? And that's 1914. Look, Thomas Chatwin, Birmingham, 1914. They're all in my all of these boxes I've done films on. There's so many, and you could talk about each. I mean, the box alone, you could talk about each one of them in their turn. It would just take too much time. Just take too much at this stage. It just takes too much time. So if you've been through the collection, if you've seen the tap and die films, and there's a particular one you want me to pull out and have a closer look at, just tell me, send me a message, say, Reggie, blah, 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 on this film, let's have a closer look at that. Yeah, and I think I've pretty much, well, covered it as much as you can cover when you're a bit of a nutcase of a collector that just collects, well, and other things, but boxes of taps and dies through all the ages, you know. It's going to be very interesting. Somebody with all that knowledge, I'd love somebody to come along. I'm guessing like a museum, or somebody from a museum that knows all these dates, an engineering museum, or somebody that's into the history of these, to come and see what age range I've got, from, you know, from the typical modern one to the oldest, and which is the oldest, and what name means what. But anyway, I thought I might just, me being Mr. Tap and Die Collector, I had to add to the conversation, didn't I? Of course, we can go way back before they thought about putting names or branding or anything like that. This is just their tool. I've got quite a few of these. I'm trying to figure out, they didn't put the dates on at that time, or their names, no. So some of these are quite difficult to trace. They've all got the marks, and all the marks mean something. You know, like the 26 and all these. So yeah, there's so many different sorts out there to collect. So then, obviously, the less age, then the secret is trying to find complete sets with everything matching. Everything, you know, the label is a lot. The label is an awful lot. It's lovely to find the label surviving, and then it's lovely to find each and everything labelled up right with the right markings, everything in the right place. I've got a few other, of all these, I would guess I've got about, in my mind at the moment, I think I've got about 3 that are actually complete unmolested sets. And they're something to find yet again, another thing to find. Not always about size. Some of these smaller boxes are absolutely gorgeous. This is chrome-plated brass little hinges. Some of them, they show an age. Somebody somewhere, I'd say this was a very special box, kept in a very special place, just for certain jobs. You sort of get that sort of vibe off them, you know what I mean? And then you start hunting down the books, you know, I collect the books. Then it's a case of finding them complete, finding the label, now you've got the set and it's complete. Now you've got to find the book, and you've got to find them in the book, and then you've got to find out what date that book was and look for a picture of that set in the book. You can, what you wouldn't think that taps and dies is such a thing to collect, with the names and the firms and which firm owned what and where did it come from and the distance they've travelled. Wow. Once you get into this taps and die malarkey, it really gets under your skin. And we haven't even spoke about threads yet. Whitworth, BSF, BSW, BA. We haven't spoken anything about the sizes and the threads on them. I'll leave that to Scoutcrafter. Again, this is a little set. This is a Wells Brothers, Ontario, Canada. But they're not just tools in a box. It's tools in a box with a little velvet lid. Wow. How highly thought of was this? Because there was a little velvet lid, velvet inner on the box. This must have been, of its time, of its day. This must have been, and it's even got a lock on it, look. So why would you put a velvet top and a lock and put it in a lovely box? Wow, this must have been something really special of its day. So I have to tell you about this one. This one, which introduced me to Little Giant. This was my first Little Giant set. And again, the handles are in here, look. And this is here, look. This is Little Giant, you see. Hold on. This is Little Giant. But what I really, really like about this one is, the smell of it. The age, that smell has stayed with it. It's a bit like smelling a leather car, an old leather car. There's something about when you open this box, it tells you it's speaking its age, and it's got that, whether it's the oil they cleaned it with, or the cutting fluid, I don't know what it has, what's making that lovely smell of vintage tools. But this box should never be cleaned, because you'd lose that smell. That doesn't actually belong in there. This is the set as it should be. Yeah, wow. It's amazing. Yeah. So I always keep the lid shut, keep the smell in so it doesn't run out. But the smell on this is gorgeous. And the work in the box. Here's a question for you. You can see this now, look, and it's clearly stamped. Little Giant, USA, Greenfield, Massachusetts. And you can see that, can't you? So that is a Greenfield, Massachusetts, Wells Brothers product. You would think, anyway, because it's stamped. But look at this one. Looks exactly the same. Vertical, the same scale. It's the very same thing, okay? With the handles, with these on the end, blah, 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 slightly in a different box. But this one, as you can see, is plainly made in England. Made in England. Now, was that made in England under license? Was that made in England under license to America? They're the same thing. Same dimension, same size, same everything. Did one company buy a company, own a company? You'd almost say it's come out the same mould, or however it's made, it's come out the same damn thing, hasn't it? Except one's got one name from England on it, and the other one's got the name from America on it. And is that what they do now? One factory makes all the tools and they all just put their names on it and maybe paint it. Yeah, that's a thing to think about, and it is the same. It is the same tool. Is somebody copying somebody with or without permission? That's always been a puzzle to me. Yeah, why? If you're making a tool and your name's on it, then that's your tool, isn't it? But that doesn't always work in the world of tools, does it? So I'm going to shut shop now, and I'll let you sleep on it. Does one factory make the same tool and everybody goes and buys them from different countries and stamps their name on them? So, I hope you enjoyed that little conversation, John, Scoutcrafter, so that we can, add to the conversation. And as always, I'm always looking for stuff, and I'm always trying to find space to put it. I'm going to have to build some more shelves somewhere.